So how is it going?
Okay. All right.
So what's on your mind?
Struggles of COVID-19. So this is related to the struggles of COVID-19, but it's like a big issue too. So I got a call from my friend Karen. So Karen's like a friend from high school.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I've known actually from elementary school. I've known Karen a long, long time, and she's a podiatrist.
Uh-huh.
And so she was, and this has happened before. She was telling me things that she was doing that are risky, and sort of, but not really asking me whether like what I thought about it. So I never know, and I don't know what to say because I feel like, well, if she, if I'm really honest and say, you really shouldn't be doing this, this would, you're really taking a risk here. This is not a good idea. Then possibly she just won't tell me.
Right.
She won't talk to me about what's going on.
Kind of like parents with teenagers.
Yes, like a parent with the teen. On the other hand, she was calling me, and it seemed like, yes, it was catching up because we haven't talked in a while, and lots of people are checking in like now because we're home and whatever. And but there's an element of my feeling like she's asking me,
Right.
she wouldn't call me if she didn't want my opinion, or she
Yeah.
wouldn't tell me this if she didn't want my opinion.
Does she see you as kind of like a responsible? Do you think like you, as opposed to like some other random friend, she kind of sees as somebody who's responsible or careful?
Um,
You know.
yeah, yeah. Actually, the last email she wrote me was a really strange one in which she was, in fact, and she was saying that like she complains about a lot of things in her life. She had a bum deal as a kid. She really had a bum deal as a kid, and she complains a lot.
Yeah.
And the last email she was writing, she was saying, that she shouldn't be complaining that much because she brought a lot of her troubles upon herself by acting irresponsibly.
Uh-huh.
and and she said, unlike you've acted really
Yeah.
responsibly, and therefore you are not in horrible financial straits and other issues that she has.
So it
So there's
sounds like she does see you as sort of like a responsible friend that can be relied on to make sound decisions.
right. So is she asking me to tell her? But is she asking me to say? Does she want me to say?
She might want like almost permission, kind of. Not that she needs your permission, but almost like if you say it's okay, then she doesn't have to worry about doing it. If you're not concerned about it, then she sure doesn't need to be concerned about it. So it's
Right.
almost like, it's like I feel like people do that sometimes. It's like they almost are asking somebody something, but they know what they want the answer to be.
Right. You
It's
choose.
like, oh, should
You're
I
right.
buy this? Should I
You
buy
choose
this? And
who
you
you
really
ask.
want permission to buy
Right.
this. And if you really want to feel not guilty, you're not going to ask the person who would buy anything. You're going to
Right.
ask somebody who you see as more like responsible, because then if they say you can buy it, well, then you can buy it guilt free, you know? So it could be like,
This reminds me of my friend Ruth, who like was always saying when I was sick, she would say, "Stay home, don't go to school sick." And I was like, "Oh, but I have to because kids need me." Da, da, da. And she'd go, "No, stay home, put your feet up, drink hot tea, take care of yourself." And then when I was like obsessing about oh, I feel a little sore throat. Should I stay home or not? I would say, well, maybe I'll ask Ruth. And it was I knew what Ruth would do.
So it was like almost it takes the decision off your shoulders almost like, well, if I call her and she tells me I have to stay home, I guess I have to stay home, like I don't have to, I'm not making the decision to not go to school and leave the kids. She's making the decision for me.
Yeah, but I know by calling her, I've made the decision. By calling her, I've made that decision.
So what's she looking for when she calls you?
Right. What is Karen looking for?
I mean, it could be, maybe she doesn't, from her email, it doesn't sound like she trusts her decision-making skills very much. It doesn't seem like she sees herself as somebody who makes sound decisions. So she, in a way might be looking to you to thinking like, oh, she'll know what to do, or she'll be able to, figure this out, or I don't know.
Right. Well, she wasn't asking me to puzzle things out. Sometimes people will say, help me think this through. How should I handle this?
No, but more like, if in her head, obviously so many people aren't quarantining well because it's just hard, right? It's easier to just be less careful. So almost like, it could be similar to you calling Ruth in that you might know that you should stay home, but it's hard for you to stay home and leave the kids at school. She might know, so you need almost like somebody to tell you to do it. She might know that she should be more careful, but it's hard and she doesn't have great willpower with it. So maybe she's almost calling you to be told to do that, to be told to do something she knows she should do in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things she did was she got her hair done. She got her, she dyes her hair and whatnot. And so and that one I really, that I said, oh, that's ridiculous. She said, well, ask the hairdresser all the right questions. And yeah, but, you're right next to him and he's seeing clearly you're not the only client that he's, making this exception for to do their hair. And who are you seeing anyway? So in that case, I was definitely establishing my value system. Not only
How did she respond?
Say it again.
How did she respond?
She said she wanted to be a pretty corpse.
It definitely feels like it definitely feels a little bit like, teenager asking, parent, almost like, I know what I should do, but hey, similar, to the Peggy situation of oh, what, oh, let me tell you what I'm doing. I really know that I should be doing this, but I know you're gonna try to make me do the right thing. But then there's a bit of, rebelliousness in it at the same time. So it's almost like, I want you to tell me what to do, but also I'm not going to do what you say because I have my, so I'm going to kind of poke at you a little bit.
Right. Yes, it is like a teenager because she enjoys, she enjoys aspects of risk taking. She always has.
There also might be some part of her enjoying you worrying about her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
or in some way bragging about her risk taking.
Yeah, but she knows you're gonna worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, part of it might be just sort of enjoying that I'm gonna do what I want and you can't control me kind of thing, which is a very teenager-ish sort of desire. But then there also could be it feels good when people worry about you.
Yeah.
So when I was in grade school, I had a girl in my class who told a bunch of people she was going to hurt herself and then said it was like fake
Yeah.
afterwards,
Yeah.
which obviously I don't know what the real situation was, but I think there is a sense sometimes of people wanting to see other people worry about them because it shows that they care.
Yeah.
You know, so there could be that aspect too.
Right.
But am I
Right.
like, am I right that you like, does it sound right that it makes you like anxious because you feel responsible a bit that she's saying this stuff and you're not sure whether to like push or not?
Right. How much to push? And then afterwards, like I'm thinking, you know, if I care about her, I should have said, no, do not do this. You know, I'm concerned about you. Don't do this.
Yeah.
She's continuing to see patients too.
Is she
With,
like, is it a friendship where you're worried that if you push too much, she'll like stop talking to you? Like she won't want to talk to you as much? Like, is it that kind of friend?
yeah, sort of. Because the one time she stopped talking to me for a while, and so it really pissed me off. She was basically going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
She was having trouble with her husband. I'm not gonna that's a whole other story, but she was having trouble with her husband, and she was very upset, and she was talking to me about what was going on an almost daily basis. I mean, she really needed to talk, and she would call in tears, and we spent a lot of time talking. And all of her other friends clearly said to her, I can hear from what she reported. Basically, everybody except me was just adamant, just throw him out. Just get out of there, throw him out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as quick to, I think she did, and I think it was the right decision, but I wasn't as quick to go there. I didn't immediately say, that's outrageous behavior, throw him out. So when she did decide to throw him out, she stopped calling me. Right. She just out of the blue, she went from like calling me constantly to just stop.
Yeah.
She stopped calling me. In fact, she didn't return calls.
Yeah.
Which really ticked me off.
Yeah. No, I could imagine. I mean, it definitely sounds like a relationship where she sort of sees you as the responsible one, and it sounds like she stopped calling because she knew that you would not approve of her decision, and so she didn't want to feel, it's like if you do something that somebody didn't approve of, you don't want to talk to them afterwards because you don't want to feel guilty, or you don't want them to scold you. Not that you were going to scold her, but my guess is that's kind of why she didn't call. Not that that was right, okay of her, but
also I wouldn't have. That's the other thing. I wouldn't have. Once she made her decision, I definitely wouldn't have said.
I don't think it's about like you. I think it's more about, she clearly sees herself from what she said as somebody who's not very responsible, who doesn't make great decisions, doesn't trust her own decisions. Right. And she clearly sees you as somebody who makes sound decisions and thinks things out and responsible. So it's less of what you would actually say and more of her own feelings about herself, and you just being the person that reminds her about that because you are not irresponsible, or because she sees you as this responsible person.
So sometimes she wants that reminder, and sometimes she doesn't want that reminder.
Right.
So I just play my role. Is that what I do? I mean, which I guess is what I did, because I basically said to her, I think she said her daughter told her she should, that she really shouldn't do that. And about the hairdresser. And I said,
Yeah.
absolutely, you shouldn't do that. But I didn't come down on,
Yeah.
I didn't make a big fuss.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm afraid if I make a big fuss that she won't call me.
Right. Which has happened before.
Right.
Which does feel very much like a, teenager parent
It does.
relationship of like, and her email is very telling that she would say that about herself and you.
Yeah.
That's not like said lightly.
Yeah, that was a
think.
long time in coming. I mean, that was like, after we'd spent a lot of time talking about a lot of things.
Right, but I doubt that her view of you and her has changed that much in that time,
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's also an element of, there's also some element of bragging or which is like a teenager, like mocking me for being responsible, like, to say that I want to be a pretty corpse.
Right. It's like my interactions with Peggy recently of, so from what I can tell, though, that kind of interaction could be sort of like expressing your own independence, right? So like, you can't control me kind of thing of like, I'm going to do what I want. And then I think too,
why are you telling me?
because they, you can't express your independence to nobody. You have to do it,
Right.
And then I think another part of it is almost like doubling down on being irresponsible. So like, she sees herself as this irresponsible person, and sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm gonna revel in it, or I'm gonna like, forget it, like I'm just gonna, kind of double down on this way of being.
Yeah.
So it could be like both of those of like, no, you can't tell me what to do, and then also this like, well, this is just me,
right,
kind of
right.
thing.
So what do I do? How do I respond to the information? It just,
I mean, I feel like it's important to express that you're worried. Like if she's saying things that she's doing and it's like, do you think it's a good idea? And I would be honest, but then maybe like put it in terms of, so like take out the responsible versus irresponsible and just more put it in terms of like you caring about her.
Right.
Because I think the part that's going to make her sort of balk is because she wants a responsible friend, but then sometimes it makes her feel guilty. But if you kind of put it in terms of, I'm just so worried about you, like I care about you so much. So when you go to the hairdresser, like I just worry so much about you. So less about like, come on, you shouldn't do that, like that's not responsible, like you can't be doing that right now.
Right.
Take away the responsible versus irresponsible dynamic, but make it more in terms of, I just care about you so much, and that makes me so worried about you. Like you're a good friend. I just want you to, be safe. I think at least, she'll still balk sometimes, but
I didn't do that, and that may be why I found the conversation unsettling.
Yeah, because it's gonna like from like her perspective, she's always gonna feel down. Like she's always gonna feel down on herself if she feels like she's, being told that what she's doing is wrong, right?
Whereas, but she asked for it.
Right. Yes, but she's not being rational.
Right.
Right. She's not being rational. She's, like we said, she's kind of acting like a teenager.
Yeah, she called me to tell.
Right. So she's acting like a teenager. So, but she wants somebody to tell her the responsible thing to do, but she doesn't want to feel guilty about it. She doesn't want to feel like she's a bad person. So if you can make it more about, oh, I just care about you so much, like this makes me so worried, like just for me, could you not, do that or whatever, to take out the I'm the responsible friend telling you you're irresponsible. Not that you were doing that, but she's sort of, you know,
She set up that role for me.
right. And she, you know, she's looking for that. She's looking for that because she does feel like she's irresponsible.
I should probably call her back.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say if you called her back?
More of the, you know, I've been thinking about it and worrying about you, and I know, you know, that you were being flippant about, you know, being wanting to be a pretty corpse, but it really does scare me.
Yeah, I would not even reference like
The pretty corpse.
yeah, because she's gonna interpret it as like, you know, it's just referencing her irresponsibility, basically. And you want to, I think, keep that out of the conversation. So just more like, you know, I was just like thinking about you and I'm just feeling so anxious about, you know, you, and I just, you know, I care about you so much, and like I really just I don't want you to be sick or die, so just like for my sake, please just try to be more careful, you know, stay in the house as much as you can.
And you don't think, see, this gets back to like, is that mean she's not gonna, you know, she's not gonna call me? Do you know what I mean?
I think if you make it more about just caring about her and like feeling worried about her, I think it'll be like, and also like there's a difference between like pushing and just like calling to say like, hey, I was thinking about you, I'm just feeling so worried about you, and I just wanted to tell you like, please just be so careful because I care about you so much. That's a lot different than like trying to convince her to do something.
Right. So I don't even have to get into specifics.
No, just like, I was just thinking about you, I was so worried about you, you know, please be careful, you know, I don't want anything to happen to you.
Right. And clearly she doesn't need the specifics because she knows.
Right. She knows what she should be doing. She just, you know, and I think part of her wants somebody to tell her, but then it feels so awful when you feel like you're being told you're irresponsible. Even though you're not telling her that, she thinks she's irresponsible. So she's going to project that onto you anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so if you make it more about just caring about her, it'll give her that push to be more careful without the, oh, you're irresponsible thing. But, you know, it's worth a try. But I would, you know, not be pushy about it, and just like a short, you know, I'm just so worried about you. I care about you so much. Don't want anything to happen to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Whenever you're done, whenever you're ready, we can be done whenever. But
yeah, that's a good resolution.
Yeah.
It's
a lot like my mom.
What's that?
It's a lot like my mom. You know?
Right. But I'm not responsible for her.
But the problem is that you